In the last video, we have seen how we can use for loops to simplify our code. In this video, I'm going to take a short diversion from control flow statements because I want to show you a way to implement this function with even less code. So the code that I'm about to write is a bit less intuitive than what we have seen so far, but I want to present it anyway so that we can introduce a couple of more concepts. So I'm going to type in the code first and then I can explain it. So here I'm going to type return and then values dot fold, and then within brackets I'm going to type in 0, comma, and then brackets again, result, comma, value, and then arrow operator, result plus value, and then semicolon, like this. So this code that I've just written does exactly the same thing as the for loop that we have written over here, but with just one line of code. So let me explain this. The first thing that we do is to call values.fold, and fold is a method of the iterable class. So we can call it in our list because list implements iterable. So let's open up the documentation for the fold method. And as we can see here, the fold method reduces a collection to a single value by iteratively combining each element of the collection with an existing value. And it uses initial value as the initial value and then iterates through the elements and updates the value with each element using the combine function. So let's get back to Dartpad and break this down. Over here, we pass 0 as the initial value, and this is the same as the initialization value of our result variable over here. And then we have this syntax. So the documentation refers to this as a combine function. To be precise, this syntax defines a special function called a closure. So what is a closure? The way I like to think about it is that a closure is a function without a name. So in Dart, it is possible to pass functions or closures as parameters to other functions, such as the fold method over here. And this is because in Dart, functions are first-class citizens. So in this example, what we are doing is to define a closure which takes two parameters as an input, so result and value, and returns result plus value as an output. And we use the arrow operator to keep everything concise and in one line. So to use fold, all we have to do is to remember to pass in an initial value and a combine function that we can use to accumulate our values. Now, fold is just one of many methods that are available when working with iterable in Dart. And just so you know, fold is also known as a functional operator and is called reduce in other languages. And there is an entire area of programming known as functional programming, which uses functions and closures heavily. So I'm not going to talk more in detail about functional programming here, and all I wanted to do is to show you the fold method and talk about closures so that you can see that there is another way of working with collections other than using for and while loops. And just to summarize what we have seen so far, we have started by implementing the sum function using a while loop. And then we have seen how to simplify this with a for loop. And we have even seen a variant of the for loop that doesn't work with indexes. And finally, we have introduced the fold method. And with this, we have been able to implement our sum function with just one line of code. Okay, so let's continue on the next video.